I'm going to share with you today the exact roadmap that you need to do in order to create a very profitable marketing channel for your real estate wholesaling business. A lot of wholesalers don't even know where to start, and there's 5 things that you need to look out to in order to actually make this successful. In order to create a marketing channel, first you have to have clarity. If you don't have clarity of where you are right now in your business, well, you're not going to be able to have a successful marketing launch. Whenever I'm choosing my marketing channels, there's a few factors that I actually look at. The first factor is, okay, how much is it gonna cost me to acquire one deal? So acquiring one deal is basically your client acquisition cost, is the cost of that deal. And on average, across all marketing channels, you can see $3,000 to $5,000 cost per deal. Now, there's some marketing channels that are cheaper than that one. I'm talking about here cold calling, SMS marketing, or the very raw organic marketing channels. There are some marketing channels that are free and therefore their cost per acquisition are low. However, you have to invest a lot more time. So if you're able to actually put a value or a dollar value to your time, it might be even more expensive. So let me explain. The first thing you gotta know is, okay, what is the amount of dollars that you need to put in to get X amount of dollars back? This is return of advertising spend. So if I spend $1, how many do I need to spend in order to get $5 back? You spend $1, you get $5 back. But it just doesn't come out just like that. It's not like you're gonna come and spend $1 and then you're gonna get $5 back. You need to know how much you need to actually put in marketing as a budget per month to get that one deal. So for example, with online marketing on Google ads or Facebook ads, there are 2 different channels. One, it's going to cost a lot more to get some traction, such as Google ads, because it takes a little bit more time. So historically, you will see that a Google ads campaign will take about 2 weeks to actually get some traction, or sometimes 2 to 4 weeks. With Facebook ads, you can get a campaign, get traction within 24 to 48 hours. Now, the magic here and the key is that with Google ads, you'll have higher intent leads. Google will definitely spend a lot more money and will not give you results at the very beginning if you're doing exact or phrase match. Actually telling Google, hey, I want the exact people that are searching for the exact keyword or phrase. So for example, I need to sell my house fast right now. If someone is searching that, you'll pay a lot more dollars for that. And you're gonna see that in majority of markets, the cost per lead will be over $150 all the way to $600 depending on where you are. If you're in Miami, it's very normal for you to pay a $300 all the way to $500, $600 cost per lead because you're doing a local campaign. If you're in another state or in another market that is cheaper, you can pay all the way to $100 to $150. If you're doing nationwide campaign, then you will reduce the cost of doing marketing, but also it'll be harder to close that deal. I'm gonna dive into that later on. On Facebook ads, you'll see the cost per lead could be from $30 all the way to $150, whether you do that a local campaign targeting local counties, local cities, or you're doing it nationwide. It will vary depending on your targeting. And obviously, it will also vary depending on the skill sets that your media buyer has, creating advertising campaigns, creating all your creatives, your videos, and so on. If you're spending, let's say, for example, $3,000 a month on Facebook, first, how much money do we need to spend in order to get a contract? We need to know how many leads it's going to take us to get a contract. And further down the line, you need to know how many appointments it's going to take you, they're going to show up to actually get a contract. And that is your closers ratio, right? Your closing ratio of your closer. So if you have, let's say, 15 leads, and out of those 15 leads, 50% of those leads actually book an appointment. And out of those 50% of those leads, actually 70 show up or 70% show up. Out of the show ratio, out of the people that show up, maybe 25% of them will close, or 30% if you're a good closer. It's okay to have a 20% ratio, which means that it is 1 out of 5 appointments that show will get into a deal. So if you were to reverse engineer this, it basically took 15 leads to get a contract, but it took X amount of appointments to get that contract done, which means that you need to get leads to book appointments, and then you need to close those appointments. If you're doing an in-person appointment, you will have a higher closing ratio. If not, then you'll have to do phone sales, and you'll need to get better at sales in order to do that. So that goes my next point. In order to have a really good marketing channel, you need to make sure you have a great sales process. We got Facebook ads running, 15 leads to one contract, and Google might be 10 leads to one contract. Now, here's the thing. It might cost you a lot more money, but at the end of the day, both will equate. The only big difference in here between choosing Google, Facebook, or Instagram is that it may take longer for that Facebook ad lead to actually convert. Look, Facebook comes with two different types of motivated sellers. This is how I call them, the two types of motivated sellers from Facebook. The one that just recently started getting motivated, and you'll need to nurture, follow up with them, and essentially pre-sell the entire thing. Make sure that they're pre-sold on you and your company, and they may not take action right now, but there's an option for you to actually close them in the future. And this person just started getting motivated. And the other one that has been targeted, that has been cold called, that has gone through Google, they've done the research and they're ultra motivated, but there is still that competition. And that person will come up with different objections to essentially challenge you. They're not trying to give away the house. Understand this. They're trying to make business just like you are trying to make business. So once you have these things, which is cost per acquisition, the length that it's going to take a marketing channel to actually perform. So the cash conversion cycle on Google it's about 45 days to 60 days. And you understand that the next thing is like how much money I'm going to make per deal. So that means that if I have a Google campaign going, and in my Google campaign, I make about $25,000 per deal, that means that it's okay for me to actually spend $5,000 or $6,000 in order to acquire one deal. Let's reverse engineer that. If you have a campaign in Michigan, and in Michigan it's averaging $15,000 on assignment fees, because that's literally the maximum that you can do. Well, that means that to have a 3-to-1 ratio on your cost per acquisition to your deal size, then that means that you'll have to divide that essentially by 3. And that would be the more or less the amount of money that you can actually spend in order to get that one deal. But now you do want to acquire that deal as cheapest as possible, right? Obviously. So that means that it's okay to pay $3,000 to acquire that one deal in Michigan. One deal, Michigan, to get $15,000 in revenue. Now, this is not profit, right? So now we have CAC, we have deal size, and we have cash conversion cycles. To me, those are the most important things. Now, where are you at in the business? Are you already doing deals? Do you have time? Do you have the money? Do you have a team? That's another thing that you got to evaluate before. I actually have created an entire ladder that actually shows you in my YouTube channel when to start actually doing advertising. But let's jump real quick here into the 5 pillars. Pillar number 1, it's going to be choosing your beast lead management system. So every single motivated seller online will need quick speed to lead. You need to get them on the phone fast. They will forget about you. They will not be loyal. And ultimately, they're also looking at other options, or they will be cold called or will be retargeted by your competitor. And with the latest news and the latest updates on Facebook algorithm, that means that every single time that they click on your ad, they'll see your competitor's ad, one after the other one, after the other one, after the other one. You click on an ad right now, and you'll see that every single ad after that is a competitor's ad. It's the same service or the same product that other people are actually selling, but with other companies. And the reason why is because Facebook they want to help people to convert. So that means that if you're giving someone a click, you need to act fast. Like it's even inevitable. They're gonna be retargeted by a lot. Before it was by a little bit, they'll show, let's say they'll show a wholesaler, a real estate agent, flipper, and then they'll show shoes, and they'll show shirt, and then Facebook wanted to diversify, but now it's no wholesaler, 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 wholesaler. So you got to be very quick, and you got to optimize for booking appointments. Okay, this is very important. The second thing is choose your precise AI lead gen system. So make sure that whatever it is that you're doing uses the latest updates of technology, such as choosing Meta advertising or Google advertising or even YouTube advertising, because these are the channels that are going to take your business to the next level. Let's be honest, if you were to do cold calling campaigns to hire people, it will take a long time. To hire, to get the right hires and get them onboarded, so on. To do more organic outreach to realtors, it will take a long time and effort. So it's not really a scalable system. But this AI lead gen system, such as Google Ads, right, and Meta Ads, which is Instagram and Facebook, and YouTube Ads, it's a highly scalable lead generation channel. The third one is going to be speed to conversation. So I already talked about how you need to have a very good lead management system, where you have a CRM such as Go High Level, and ultimately you could use RSimpli or Invest Reviews to get these leads to actually reply, get an appointment, and ultimately talk to you. So speed to conversation means that every time that the lead comes in, you have to have a great follow-up messaging through SMS, through email, voicemail drops, and calling them. So it's all different angles. If you actually can send them a text message on iMessage or even call them on iMessage, that actually is going to work as well, very well. The key here is speed. The key here is to get them to talk to you. The key here is for them to start liking you, trusting you. And one of the biggest things that you can do right now is to pre-frame and prime these sellers before they ever talk to you by creating a video sales letter that you send to them before the appointment happens, or before you get to talk to them, because maybe they're actually busy. So you create a video sales letter that pre-sales indoctrinates your lead on everything that you have to offer to this lead. Explains the offer, explains your process, your values, the amount of people that you have actually helped, case studies, testimonials, the proof. This is your credibility package. Okay. And ultimately, the fourth thing would be conversion ramp up to KPIs. This is very important. This means that you have to be able to get your sales process dialed in as soon as you start generating leads, hopefully beforehand. Obviously, you need to make sure that you're having great conversations, but following a sales methodology that will work for you and your team. If you don't have that, it's going to be very hard for you actually to convert these leads. Now, remember that online marketing leads, they're not giving away the house to you. They're going to try to negotiate either way with you at all times. They're going to give you objections, and this is something you need to understand and learn how to actually follow a sequence and methodology of sales. So the favorite framework that I like is you connect with that seller, you introduce yourself, you build rapport. Second one is you set the agenda and you frame the conversation. The third part is you actually dive deep into the pain and the motivation of what's going on. You can actually ask what would be the minimum amount of cash offer that they're willing to actually get, or the price that we're thinking, but then keep diving into that motivation, because it's very important for you to understand their biggest challenges and their biggest desires. Whenever you dive into the biggest desires, this is basically their goals. What is it that they're gonna do after they move, and how important it is to them personally. At this level, you need to be very emotionally intelligent. And if you don't connect with them emotionally, especially with homeowners that are going through situations like this, they're gonna change the conversation to a logical conversation. And whenever you have a logical conversation about houses, it comes down to the price. So you're gonna lose that every single time, because selling the house is a very emotional thing. But when you come into a logic, like, doesn't logically make sense for you to accept 50 to 70% of what the house is worth, right? And the next step is obviously like being able to pre-frame and pitch, and then ultimately negotiate an offer or put together an offer. There is more to that. I walk through that in different videos where I actually go over the NAPQ method that our clients use. And the last thing, you got to be able to scale this ad spend methodologically, whatever, systematically. All right, guys, don't laugh at me, please. You got to be able to scale this systematically, which means that now you know how much it actually costs to get one contract because you're repeatedly generating leads with the right amount of ad spend. I suggest $100 to $200 a day to get started. And then once you have that, well, everything becomes math. So now we know how much it costs to get one contract. We know the contract conversion ratio to closing. So that means that we got to generate X amount of leads, and those leads generate X amount of appointments, and those appointments generate a contract. Those contracts generate a deal, and therefore we're going to choose the ad spend to increase it in month 2 or 3. There's an entire ROI calculator that I actually show that goes over the first 3 months almost having no return because it's always a negative month. Again, cash conversion cycle takes 45 to 60 days on Google, sometimes more, and 92 days or so on Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising. So you got to know your cash conversion cycle. And that, guys, is exactly what you need to know in order to start creating your roadmap. If you want a specific roadmap created for you, we'll go over this together. I created an entire video in the description below that kind of explains each one of those steps, and I go more in detail. It's a little bit of a longer video for you to have everything in there for you. Now, if you like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be posting more of these knowledgeable and informational videos for you. And if you want to work with us, well, remember the link in the description so you can start working with us. You'll book an appointment with our team to hopefully we can start scaling, getting you more deals every single month. See you guys.